Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report, the video series I make from time to time when there's new cards to report on. Funny how naming conventions work. Yes, as is tradition, the weekend I'm busy at the NAWCQ is the same one where approximately 412 new cards are revealed. So here we go, folks. Let's take a look at the card that people are most hyped for now out of Age of Overlord, because this one's a woman! It's not really a joke, to be honest. It's kind of just the truth. There's a whole deck around it, kind of, so that English. Diabellestar, the Dark Witch, is a level 7 dark spellcaster with 2500 attack and 2000 defense, with 3 effects, each of them rocking a hard once per turn. The first will special itself from your hand by sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, so it's never a brick so long as you have another card. Hell, some of you might even call her thick. Oh, I don't remember writing that joke, and I hate that I said that. Kill me. The second effect activates on normal or special summon, allowing you to set a Tainted Treasure, spell a trap card from your deck to your field, of which there are plenty. And the last effect activates if it's sent to the graveyard on the opponent's turn, allowing it to special summon itself by again sending a card from your hand or field to the grave. That's not a bad start in terms of the effect or the art going on the community's general reaction, because not even the useless Twitter account, which surprisingly isn't my main one, no, I have a second one that just follows relevant people and things, and even that account has been getting art of this monster spammed into its feed, which is nothing short of impressive. So there's that going for it. It's a level 7 that will summon itself, and the best part is that the effect that activates on the opponent turn to revive itself can trigger regardless of who it is sends it to the graveyard. So you can use her as a cost for another card and then revive her and plus off another set spell or trap. Not bad at all. Plus, surely the fact that it sets a Tainted Treasure spell or trap allows for a tainted love sort of joke. Get it? It's a very subtle reference to the hit song Tainted Love as performed by Ed Cobb in 1964 that would go on to gain international renown when covered by British synth-pop duo Soft Cell in 1981. This video is of course about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I misspoke in synth-pop. I get the sense that this card is going to be used in a number of decks moving forward due to, in part, the genericness of it and the Tainted Treasure card, so let's look at those, and then in a few months we can decide how stupid I was for having said I think it would be generic. Tainted Treasure Hunter Fiend is the first quick play spell that I saw, so let's talk about that one. When activated, it can add 1 Diabellestar monster from deck to hand. So it's Diabellestar Circle of sorts. And its other effect is one that activates in the graveyard, allowing you to banish it to target a Tainted Treasure card that's in your grave or banished pile to place it on the bottom of the deck and then draw a card. How much is there to say about a Rhoda that has 1 target thus far? It's a quick play, so you can play around Droll if you open it and activate it in the standby phase, and if you set it off the lady, you're waiting to turn to search with it regardless, because it's a quick play, so like ups and downs. And also the ability to recycle the other Tainted Treasures is a great way to, you know, get through the grind game, on top of the fact that that effect plays right into Droll. So the duality of man, you can play around it, you can play into it, and either way, Droll fucking sucks to play against. I do play Pearly, how'd you know? The art also looks like the wanted poster is just a bunch of capital A's up at the top, just you know? I know it's not. I can see that there's a bottom line connecting it. It's meant to be a different symbol, not just the capital A, but I wanted to just say it's really funny to imagine a wanted poster that's just screaming at you. It's solid. If we get more Diabellestar monsters, it gets better. I don't think there's any need to waste further time on it. Tainted Treasure of Doom, Lucilia, is another quick play spell, this one requiring you to target a level 7 or higher spellcaster you control and applies 2 effects in sequence. First, it will become unaffected by other monster effects for the turn, but will be sent to the graveyard during the next standby phase. And all other monsters on the opponent's field will lose attack equal to the targeted monster's attack, and if any of those attack stats drop to 0 from this effect, those cards will be destroyed. Not too shabby. Protection for the card that searches it, or your Dark Magician that doesn't need protection since Eternal Soul's already a thing. But either way, it can help OTK and clear the board. And you know, that attack drop's not bad. It isn't amazing by any stretch, but it does at least work with you know, Diabellestar's effect to revive itself on the opponent's turn. It's not terrible. And really, they did print dinosaur support in Duelist Nexus that was so many tiers below this that's the joke, really, that I'm going for, as I'm pivoting hard into saying that Duelist Nexus's dinosaur support that is coming out in the TCG at the end of this month is complete dog shit. But back to the cards that actually are relevant for this video, the trap card. Tainted Treasure of Betrayal. Sylvia. This normal trap on activation sends a Diabellestar monster from your hand or field to the grave to target and negate the effects of one card on the field. Meanwhile, the second effect can banish itself from the graveyard when the opponent activates a card or effect in response to one of your Diabellestar monster's effects, or even one of your Tainted Treasure spell or trap cards or effects. And either way, when you activate one of your effects, Tainted Treasure or Diabellestar, you can banish this and negate the opponent's effect that might be responding to it. Each effect is of course once per turn, and it's a nice little bit of interruption because it sends Diabellestar on their turn, and it helps insulate on your turn, and it's got a lot of synergy. It's crazy how they do that. They build synergy in archetypes. I know, it blows my mind every time I talk about it. But still, all in all, they seem like a decent start to a deck. There's a monster to get out the spell and trap cards, there's a spell to get at the monster, an effect negation in the form of the trap, and potentially destruction along with OTK potential from the other quick play spell. So it's not nothing. It's nothing game-breaking, and I'm not making a boner-breaking joke. Fuck this script. I'm not doing that. I feel like this one's gonna get trickles of support over the next couple of sets, and if nothing else, the mention of Diabellestar monsters, as in more than one in these cards, will prove me right in due time because I said so. Crazy how that all works. As it stands now, it's not a strong deck, but it seems like a very solid engine. But this is Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's not just anime girls. It's anime girls and dragons. So let's move on to the next bit of cards in these videos. The V-Jump promo retrain of Brionac has finally had its effect revealed, and it sure does have words on the card. It's got the identical stat line to the original in terms of materials needed to summon, attack, attribute, all of it. Even down to being a sea serpent despite having dragon in its name. Yu-Gi-Oh! The first activated effect activates on Synchro Summon, allowing you to discard a card from your hand to target one card on the field and return it to the hand. And for the sake of variety, they gave it a second effect as well. The second one is of course almost identical to the first, targeting one card on the field and bouncing it to the hand, but this one activates if it's summoned from the graveyard. Both effects are hard once per turns, and at surface, this seems worse than Brionac was when it debuted in 2011. And that's because it is. But compared to the current version of a Brionac with the errata, it is not useless. Most notably, this version can bounce itself, which is something that the retrain errata, it's the errata, can't. And it can bounce your own cards in general, which can be good for getting back your own cards into your hand to use them again. Say any continuous spell or trap, or a field spell, or an equip spell maybe even, because maybe you're hard cheating and playing Premature Burial and want to make OCG style Synchro Cap plays. I'm not gonna judge you, just don't do it at a tournament. Do it like with your buddies at home. Either way, this card isn't useless. And if you can find a way to revive it from the grave on the opponent's turn, you can get both uses from it for more disruption. That doesn't make you keep up with most modern decks by any means, but it's a V-Jump retrain, folks. This beats that Future Fusion Abomination retrain that fucked over Cyber Dragon entirely. So the fact that this isn't complete dog shit is miles above what we were expecting. And by we, I mean me. So we're just gonna take it and run. And fuck it. As one last bonus card for you. The last card from the Crimson King structure deck was revealed in the OCG. And is it really a Craig Fee video if we don't include those forced segues, you know? Get it? Speaking of dragons, because before that other, you know, entire segment on Brionac, I said it's dragons, so it's like... Moving on, Crimson Gaia. A continuous spell card has been revealed with the dragon on the art, and fuck it, that's good enough. This card can add one card named Red Dragon Archfiend or that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck or graveyard to your hand, making it an instant 3-of because consistency is king. And it even has two other effects to consider as well. One will make it so when your Red Dragon Archfiend attacks, it can flip all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position, allowing you to use the OG's effect if you feel like it, I guess, and more practically lets you get around big numbers by, you know, flipping everything that isn't a Link monster. And lastly, it can revive Red Dragon Archfiend from the grave if a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or effect. It searches all your new searchers. It can revive the dragons cosplaying Red Dragon Archfiend for more plays, and it lets the coolest dragons cosplaying the original cool dragon cosplay the coolest dinosaur. Did you follow that? I hope I put images on a screen for you to be able to, because otherwise I may have had a stroke. It's a solid card. It's just a shame that Droll and Lockbird and Ghost Ogre exist. Get it? Because those are the outs, and everyone knows if you bring up why a card's good, you just mention the out and everyone will always have it forever. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen, and it's why ERAD isn't a problem. And that's where I'll end this video because there's way too many new cards to cover in one. So instead, I'll thank this week's sponsor, the LIFD Magnetic Display. The best way to support my channel currently and the true Duelist approved way to show off your cards. Like maybe all 3 versions of Brionac once we get it. You know, the original, the errata, and the retrain. Maybe. Or maybe you can go with this lovely combination, the Ice Barrier Dragons. Fun fact, DeLorean doesn't exist, and I don't care. These is the dragons, and I got them on display. They're pretty. Either way, if you want to help me out, you can help yourself to 15% off one of these bad boys by using my promo code YGOStrats15 or have it apply automatically by clicking the link in the description. Thanks to LIFD for the support as always, and thank you for watching. And so that wraps it up for today's new card report. Just covering some of the new cards in this one, the regular update will be out on Friday as usual. Until then, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for this week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist.